represent resting on something, meditating, taking a pause. And then death next to that doesn't typically identify as actual death, okay? It's representative of life, death, rebirth, a serious change. With strength underneath the Lovers, this tells me that for this part of the collective that I am reading on, you did have to overcome quite a bit to find this unity within yourself. You've had to make some decisions based on your intuition and your intellect. Again, with the Two of Swords and the Four of Swords, I'm seeing 2-4, by the way, synchronicity. I'm seeing somebody who really had to think hard about a decision to make sure they were clear, which could have required blocking out certain energies that were keeping them at a crossroads. This is at Ace of Pentacles. With this energy, I almost feel like this blessing has been blocked, has been stuck in place. The Two of Wands next to that, that's about making decisions about how you go forward, making plans, looking at your options. It's like, it's kind of the manifestation stage. Ace of Wands is like, it's not on the table here, but in reference, it's the divine, passionate gift of inspiration and taking action on something that is very positive. So then the Two of Wands is figuring out how to utilize that blessing, right? And then typically the Three of Wands is expanding into and releasing that blessing and waiting for your ships to come back in. Though remember, don't wait for your manifestations to come back in, because you will put yourself in the energy of waiting, which tells the universe that you are still waiting for what you desire. Keep that in mind. I feel like that was important for someone. The Hierophant under death, I feel like this is divine intervention that forced a change. I'm seeing the Tower card in my mind's eye, which is associated with the Death card because they're both Scorpionic Pluto cards that represent big change. The Hierophant can represent a few different factors, but in this particular case, I'm sensing God or the gods and goddesses that divinely orchestrated some kind of ending for a reason. It has something to do with your plans and some decisions you had to make. You had to be very strong in making this decision. Yeah, King of Pentacles, you had to be very grounded. You had to keep in mind what you were growing, how far you've already come with your abundance. If you got the Ace of Pentacles here and the King of Pentacles, that is solid mastery of manifestation. And we also have the Magician down here diagonally to the right below the Emperor, crisscrossing the King of Pentacles. So I feel like some of you in this particular energy are master manifestors. Like, you know how to bring into the physical from the 5D. Again, explorations from the 3D to the 5D. That's part of my shop tagline, right? This is about grounding your manifestations into reality. It's good to visualize, it's good to think, but if you never actually take the physical steps, you can't master the act of manifestation. It's like sitting around, and this is a classic example, and I'm not shaming anybody, I'm trying to enlighten people, okay? I give loving, compassionate, straight talk, alright? But a classic example of how you can block your blessings is, say you're looking for a job, you're obsessing about it all the time, you're thinking about what kind of job you want. You decide to give manifestation a try. You start thinking about what kind of job you want, what kind of position you want to fill, what kind of money you want, what kind of location. Do you need this and that and da 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 da, right? You're visualizing, you're imagining what will fit you, right? And some people don't have the luxury really, but if you can train your mind to believe that you have the luxury, you can actually elevate. It takes consistent practice and diligence to master manifestation work, but it's not impossible. Anybody can do it. Anybody can be the magician. And we're not talking about witchcraft, though I am inclusive here and pagan and a non-denominational channel, and I also believe in God. So I work with many gods and goddesses and have a lot of experience and understanding as a high priestess, all right? So all are welcome here, okay? Let's go back to the example. Somebody's wanting a job and they're in the stage of manifestation, okay? If you aren't there yet, pay attention. Maybe you'll learn something that'll help you on your path. That's the whole point of this, is spiritual guidance, okay? So once you are done visualizing and figuring out, okay, I want to do this and this and this, we get here, that's kind of the Ace of Wands, the imagining, the speaking it into existence. The next thing you want to do is actually take action on that. You have to find out where those jobs are that fit that mold, right? You have to put in the actual energetic effort. Otherwise, the energy stagnates, okay? And it just becomes a worry instead of something to get excited about. So you go out and you start looking for your job, right? You know where you're going to go, and you start taking the physical steps. You start planning your route. Be like, hey, I'm going to put in an app here. I'm going to put in an app here. A lot of places these days, it's online applications. But back in the day, you know, anybody who was a elder millennial or earlier actually had to go walk applications. You learned, oh, I'm going to go shake this person's hand. I'm going to find out who the manager is. I'm going to introduce myself and make an impression. That way when they get my application from HR, they actually remember me, right? That's just like basic way that you can still actually put in a good effort towards getting a job. Now this is feeling like a lecture, but I felt like somebody needed an example to ground the idea of manifestation, okay? So you've already visualized everything you want, you've taken the physical steps, you've made a plan. So what would be the next option, right? And I'm getting chills as I say this, so this is Spirit confirming this message. What would naturally come after that is the Three of Wands. That's, like I said, it's typically someone standing on a cliff watching their ships come in or waiting for their ships to come in. They're on a journey. There's some kind of expansion happening. It's something that's brewing, right? And then the next card after that would be the Four of Wands, which is the cementing, the solidification of that actual manifestation. It's something to celebrate. It's something to have, to hold, to enjoy. Though it's not a pentacle, it is a structure of some kind, if that makes sense. Okay, so it could be the solidification of a belief, right? So we want to believe it before we see it. That's actually how you manifest. It starts in the 5D and it comes down to the 3D, okay? And one of the key important parts of this is once you visualize, once you put in the physical steps, with the job example, you would do all that and then you would say, okay, I am going to set the intention that one of these jobs is my dream job. It's everything I want, or it's close to everything I want. It's in alignment with me. It's for my highest and greatest good, and I'm going to give it to the universe. And I'm going to allow the universe to take it from here. Send it back up to the 5D and watch them bring it back down where you ground it into reality. And if you know how to use your intuition, you can follow that and you can discover, okay, is this really for me? Because sometimes you'll get tested by the universe. And if you're in a position of feeling desperate about getting a job, you're probably going to go for whatever the first thing is, right? And I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying put some extra thought and like check in with yourself and be like, does this feel like it's in alignment with me? And pay attention. Pay attention, okay? So that's kind of an example, but once you set your intentions, you got to let it go. You actually have to surrender it, like we were talking about blessings, to the divine, and trust that they're going to follow through. Okay? You can set the intention that this happens with divine time, which is always right on time, by the way. And if you don't have patience and you don't like hearing divine time, well, that's the universe telling you to work on your patience. Okay? So that was a little mini manifestation tutorial there. And this is also how you become the emperor. Like, you become in control of your own domain, and not in a toxic way. If it was toxic, this would be the emperor in reverse. No, this is like the ultimate boss daddy. And again, gender, it doesn't matter. Boss baddie, whatever. But this is somebody who not only has a kingdom but an empire. And that doesn't have to be an actual, like, say, huge corporation or anything like that, but it could be. It's just you. If, for example, on the most basic level, say you come from a place where you had a lot of roommates before because y'all had to, like, scrounge up money or whatever, and you had to have community living, and maybe you always desire just to have your own place, right? And you can be any age for this to apply. And you say, let's use that job analogy, you manifested the job that's actually in alignment with you, that you can actually be happy with, and it surprises you and it makes you believe in yourself, and then you go, all right, well, I can actually get that place. I can be in control of my own domain. I can put my things where I want. I don't have to worry about people coming and going. That is the most basic example of the emperor, right? And it's also being responsible and accountable for your actions. You can go out and get things done and know that you can count on yourself, right? Like I said, boss daddy energy. That's also the high-ranking court card, or card in the tarot, next to, of course, over here with the Hierophant and other spiritual high-ranking cards above that. And it's above the Magician card here. And it's interesting, diagonally across this spread, we have the Lovers and the Magician. That's Gemini energy across the way, which is also Mercurial energy, okay? Mercury also rules Virgo, and that's appropriate considering Virgo typically rules work and service, and how we show up and serve and slay, as some say. So there's a big emphasis here on communication, travel, local environments. We are, again, this is a timeless message if I didn't say that before. However, I bring up the astrology because even though it may not be relevant at the time you're watching it later, which is now for you if you are, it's relevant to the energy that's going into this reading. So if it doesn't apply to your current time, think about when, like, the next Mercury retrograde is for you, right? Whatever the next one is for the collective. You can also look at your Mercury placements or your third house placements to dive deeper into how you communicate. Okay? Again, I'm a professional astrologer, so I can read your birth chart if you want to schedule with me. Yeah, this is kind of like holding this pinnacle of something needs to be communicated here about how you can ground whatever this decision is to pull this blessing forward. Remember, we were talking about the Ace of Pentacles. This unity, this strength, it's caused a lot of pain. Some of you are in deep regret, remorse. You're really stuck in the feels, so to speak. And again, not being judgmental. I just call it how it is, okay? And I'm here to give you support, not criticize you, okay? If you feel criticized, that means I've hit a trigger, which means I might be activating you, and that's okay. And if it's not okay with you, you have permission for yourself to leave, okay? But if you have courage, stay with it. Strength card can also represent courage. Some of you have had to have a lot of courage to get through these darker feelings. This unity within self or with another, or even spirit through the Lover's card here, it's not something that was easily obtained. But whatever it is, whatever this decision you had to make, it did turn you into the King of Cups. Okay, the King of Cups is the most emotionally intelligent, regulated, kind, compassionate, yet stoic and reserved energy. Okay, this is a master of the emotions and also being able to use your intellect wisely. It's also a very creative, nurturing energy. So for some of you, I'm picking up on, there was a tremendous amount of emotional healing. Some of you had to make a decision to stop a cycle of getting lost in the darkness, lost in the shadow. I encourage a balance of light and shadow. And again, the Lovers is that divine balance, not just between masculine and feminine energies, which again, masculine is active, feminine is receptive, okay? That's not saying that boys are active and girls are, again, it's not about gender, it's about energy. This is an energy reading, okay? So yeah, some of you really had to overcome some really difficult things. You had, we were talking about the shadow, right? Being in balance with yourself means you can access both the shadow and the light for the highest and greatest good. Which means you came into balance with yourself and understanding what threw you too far into the shadow and what made you shine your light. Some of you are still very much going through this process. I have the moon here under the Two of Wands. Some of you don't know how you're going to move forward. You don't know what your plan is with that under the Two of Wands. It's kind of hidden. It's submerged. And this is something you've been working on for a long time with the Eight of Pentacles. For some of you, this is a divine connection. And I'm not talking about love in this particular case. It's a divine connection you have been working on. It is communion with spirit. You've had to make some serious life changes in order to tap into spirit. Some of you want to tell everybody about this journey with the Knight of Swords. You want to come in quick and you want to be a messenger for your cause, I'm hearing for some of you. And some of you, this is exactly what you're supposed to do with the Knight of Swords under the King of Pentacles. You're meant to be a stable, grounded force who's very successful in communicating whatever it is that your purpose is, okay? Whatever that means to you. The Magician here. I'm getting a side message that some of you are too focused on the manifestation stage, but you haven't overcome this darkness over here with the Five of Cups yet. And a change is needed. And it seems like coming into unity and balance is that change. That if you are able to focus on, I'm hearing, regulate your emotions, you will be able to bring your manifestations in on a whole new level. And this Ace of Pentacles, I'm hearing it's bound to triple, whatever that means. And also remember, equivalent law of exchange, right? One of the laws of the universe. We always want to ask for exactly what is a match to that which we are trying to bring in. You can always put the added intention that if the universe knows it's fair and just to give you more than what you're asking for. Okay? So that seemed like it's for somebody who is looking, or a few people here that are looking for tips on how to bring their intentions into reality. Some of you are having a lot of fun with this. There's the song in the background, whole lot of shaking going on. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna have fun with this. That's right. Create. This Ace of Pentacles could be a new blessing of a creative project. I'm going to, I got King of Swords on the bottom. That just further confirms. I just saw the Wheel of Fortune too. And the Three of Cups. Wow. I'm not going to take any of those, but that's telling me it's your time, I heard. I have clairaudience, by the way. It's one of my psychic gifts. Some of you have a lot of difficulty communicating. My throat chakra's closing up. The Sun. Wow. Yeah. For some of you, this is about shining, being your best self, learning how to exist in a higher frequency in order to attract that which you are trying to call in. So it's like the saying, embody the magic that you want to see in the world, right? Embody that which you want to create. So you start getting into the energy of that frequency, right? And you become a powerhouse once you have mastered that. And that's not about copycatting. It's not about faking it till you make it, though it kind of seems similar, right? It's about going, what does this feel like if I, not if, but when I accomplish this? Again, speak in present tense. If you aren't quite there, then just be mindful that eventually you're going to want to update your intentions to be present tense as if it's already happening, okay? Because then you become a match to the energy. It's like the whole thing we were talking about with waiting. If you're constantly waiting, you're telling the universe you're okay waiting. Whereas if you command it forward, you're stating to the universe, I'm a match to this. And you start embodying that energy, and then all of a sudden the universe says, oh, you're right, here you go. Six of Swords. Finding balance in your communication, finding a way to move forward in life in a safe, pleasant, balanced, harmonious way. Understanding that you do have tools at your disposal here, and you are guiding your own ship here, but Spirit is all around you and here to help you understand how to do this. Okay? I'd like to know more about for some of you, again, this could be different, apply it how it fits. Ace of Pentacles, what is this divine blessing that we are freeing up? And it looks like, again, some of you already made a hard decision that required a serious change. Some of you, I'm hearing, gave it up to God, so you know how to let go of things and move forward and know that they're going to come back to you, right? But I'd like to know more about this Ace of Pentacles, this tangible blessing from Spirit. Eight of Wands. The ability to move forward. Maybe you are the blessing and the gift. That's for some. Eight of Wands is about quick moving action, about communicating quickly, about travel, getting through something, getting very Sagittarian energy. We did just enter Sagittarius season. Again, timeless message. If you are not in Sagittarius season, perhaps you're a Sagittarius, or you want to look at a Sagittarian part of your chart, and that'll help you understand how to access this blessing. Four of Cups. Yeah, some of you don't see this blessing coming. So for some of you, this is going to be a very quick move on something that is going to bring you into this energy. I'm looking over here at the Emperor, of being in control of your own domain, or feeling like you have authority or autonomy. Seven of Pentacles. Some of you are really focused on something you have invested in, something that's going to give you sustainable long-term growth, and that's one reason you may not be paying attention to this opportunity. Or you would rather focus on what you're already invested in than take action on this blessing, which really that means you're telling the universe that you're not interested in this blessing. And if you see this Four of Cups, it's typically a person who's not paying attention, who's kind of feeling blah, and they don't really care. They don't really want to focus on anything new. They just kind of want to stay where they're at, meditate, you know, go through the feelings, and Spirit's like, hey, check this out. We got something for you. And over here with the Seven of Pentacles, some of these energies are going, that's nice, but I'm busy. And that's cool. I mean, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. What is it that some of you are so heavily invested in that has got your focus, that is distracting you from this divine gift? The Empress. Wow. Okay. We have the Emperor and the Empress on the table. And whoever this energy is about, you are in the Emperor energy. So you're in your more divine masculine energy. But you're focused on an Empress. This could be a person, but typically this is a divine match. This is the highest union you can come into. This is it's either a spiritual union or it's the deepest love you could ever hope to achieve. It could also, again, represent the divine union within yourself with the Lover's card. And this is the ultimate divine masculine and feminine in the tarot. So some of you are really invested in mastering the divine feminine side within you. So how is this energy? We're not going to put it on any particular way yet. We're going to see where Spirit's taking this. I had something there, but it kind of went away. Hold on a sec. I think I'm getting a download on this. Tell me more about the Empress here, Spirit. The Five of Swords. Huh.